back in the day when MTV actually had entertaining shows to watch and it wasn't all about teenagers getting pregnant too soon and then hating their lives and having shit boyfriends. Well, back when I was a kid, back when Jackass and Viva la Bam ruled the world, it seemed like Johnny Knoxville and Bam Margera were some of the most popular celebrities in the entire world for a good stretch of time back in the mid to early 2000s. I mean, you think about it, both were in movies and commercials and video games. And of course, they had their own TV shows on MTV. My favorite, of course, was Viva la Bam. And I can remember being super addicted to this show and its off-the-walls craziness. I remember they did all this crazy stuff. They messed with Vito, they messed with Phil, and April would go bullshit crazy. Just so off the walls, weird and crazy. You just couldn't look away. It was a train wreck. You just couldn't look away. It was must-watch TV for me, my 10-year-old self at the time, and my friends too. This was so popular back in the day. I mean, who didn't want to see them blow up Don Vito's car? Like I said, mess with Phil. Remember the Don't Feed Phil episode was great. Things like that. They were so popular that the MTV executives even floated out an idea to make a spin-off animated series called Bamimation in 2006. In fact, there was a whole pilot episode of the show that never aired before they decided not to go forward with the project. Anyway, I'm your host as always, K-Mac Time, and today I want to start a brand new series I'm starting up called Failed Cartoon Pilots, where I take these obscure and weird cartoon pilot episodes and kind of break them down and kind of just introduce them to you. Now, if you're not familiar with what a pilot episode is, it's actually pretty simple. So the way a cartoon goes from idea or a concept to being on air takes a few steps. First, you have to pitch the concept to networks, and once one of them shows interest, then you have to make what's called a pilot episode, which is basically just a first episode that you think will do well enough with a test audience that the network will agree to pick up the show for a full season. It's basically a test episode to show the networks that the cartoon can be successful and it can make money. Most pilots, however, fall short and never are seen the light of day by a real audience. In fact, just a small fraction of shows created are actually on the air. So many, hundreds and hundreds of these pilots out there floating around that never made it to fruition, that never made it into actual series. And that's why this series is something I want to do, something I thought was pretty cool. These shows you may never have heard of or seen. Some of your favorite creators might have made shows before, the shows that you know now, and it's kind of cool to take a look back at them. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Bamimation. And it was a cartoon pilot pitched to MTV back in 2006. It was created and starred in by Bam and animated by 6 Point Harness Studios. And in the pilot episode, Bam and Ryan Dunn, his best friend, discover a shrink ray invented by their friend Rake, which they use to stir up trouble. I mean, there's even a part where Bam shrinks Dunn down and he basically gets raped by a bug. I mean, there was all kinds of craziness in this show. It was like the part starts off with them riding chainsaw skateboards and like cutting each other up with that. Really out there weird. And anyway, but then when they hear that Rake is going on a date with his repulsive girlfriend who Bam is nicknamed Scabarella, they shrink themselves into his body, just like that episode of the Magic School Bus where they go inside the human body, they shrink themselves. It's kind of crazy. But they try and do everything to break the two up. There's even a scene where they're inside of his nutsack punching and kicking his balls from the inside out, all Magic School Bus style. It's absolutely insane. The show is off the rails crazy. But then again, so was Viva la Bam, the actual show, so it kind of makes sense there. I mean, this is basically just that mixed with Looney Tunes. Instead of Bugs Bunny, however, you get Bam Margera, and instead of giant mallets, you get insect rape and nutsack kicking and chainsaw skateboarding. A truly weird concept of a cartoon, but it was actually kind of funny. I mean, if you watch the whole thing, I'll leave a link to the whole episode in the thing. It's about 13 minutes long. It actually isn't awful. It's not great. It's kind of stupid, but then again, what cartoon isn't stupid? However, I just couldn't see the show doing very well. Even with the popularity of Viva la Bam and all the rest of his friends, I think the animation would have flopped. And I think that's why MTV decided to go in a different direction. Instead, they went with a different spin-off around that time. I think there was like that prank show starring Ryan Dunn. I think it was, I don't remember what it was called. But he had a show where they did pranks, and they pranked people, and then they had people, and then they pranked them, and it was just basically a hidden camera prank show. And I think they went with that spin-off instead and tried going in a different direction than in this animation Bamimation thing, I didn't think it would do very well either. Overall, though, the show was a fun little experiment, not a terrible idea considering the amount of fans that Viva la Bam and Ryan Dunn and just the whole Jackass TKY crew had back in the day. I mean, yeah, it was a little bit over the top, even for MTV at the time. I, however, give this show a 6 out of 10 Don Vitos for being pretty interesting and kind of crazy and funny at the same time. And as far as craziness and animation goes, I give Bamimation a 10 out of 10 Don Vitos. This is about as a crazy animated show you should probably ever see. I mean, yeah, I think there's only one episode of it, just a pilot. I didn't make it past that, but I don't know, crazy. So anyway, guys, tell me, did you guys watch Viva la Bam or Jackass growing up? I would love to know down in the comment sections. Let me know what you guys think about this. Would it have been something that you guys would have watched? Would you guys have been into this? Were you guys Bam fans like I was? But anyway, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys all enjoyed the new series. If you guys did, please hit that like button. It really helps out. Make sure you're sharing the video with your friends if you guys are interested in that, doing that as well. Also, if you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. This is a brand new series. I also do other series like this, cartoons and video games. So make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well to get updates at all the latest videos coming out. Make sure you guys hit that bell button for that down below. But also, today's code word you guys can drop in the comments down below to let me know you guys made it all the way to the end of today's video is going to be Vito, like Don Vito from the show, one of my favorite characters. I believe he's now actually in jail for molesting a child or something. I'm not sure about that, but I think he's in jail. Anyway, guys, drop that comment down in the below. And I know you guys are some of the coolest subscribers on the entire internet. But as always, guys, remember that's always came back time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace out.